to the Jacob Gospel podcast with Jacob and Brandy Gospel. Today we're picking up kind of from what we talked on last week with control and being in control and not being in control and giving your control away. There's all kind of things
losing control.
Yeah, losing control. I mean, there's a bunch of things with control that people don't understand.
Right.
You know, they give it away.
Most of the time, I feel like it is given away.
I mean, every day we come across people that say, well, that's not my fault, or I did that. It's because they did this, I did that. Or, you know, there was like more of a cause and effect, but realizing I control what I do. So even if you do something, regardless of what you do, how I respond to that, I mean, I'm in control.
100%, yes.
So, and then it's like I feel like people don't want control.
Sometimes I believe that, yes.
Because of the responsibility.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, so I think it's fear-driven most of the time. You know, people don't want responsibility because of fear of what other people may do, their own fears of screwing things up,
right,
or like a bunch of things. So they end up just giving other people control just so they don't have to make
kind of an easy way out.
Right, it's an easy out, right? But then what happens is those other people are making the decisions for your life.
Basically.
And then you complain and bitch about it because those people are making the decisions for you.
And you don't like the decisions that are being
made.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the same thing with owning businesses, or if you have employees, or as an employee. You know, you're complaining about the boss that you have or the work that you have, and they're making me do this.
Yes.
And we touched on that last week, but nobody's making you do anything.
That's right. You chose that job.
Right. I mean, you could quit at any time.
You could quit.
Like we make Ish do these videos. But no, he chooses to do them because he can walk out and quit right now, and then this video would end because we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's how it works. It's like you can't make me do anything.
That's right.
And society has kind of driven itself down a wormhole, I feel like, where that's really what everybody thinks. Someone made me do this, or they did that to me, so I had to respond this way. But when people realize that, I know speaking from myself, like when I realize that I have control over my life,
right,
regardless of the things I screwed up, the things that went well, regardless of anything in the past. We all have a past. We all screwed things up. And if we let fear control that, then fear's in control.
Yes.
Not ourselves.
Not us, yeah.
And you can never change and be better if you let anything else besides yourself control that. Now, the disclaimer on that is God, right? Because God's in control of everything.
Yeah.
And there's an understanding with that, that there's a line of certain things that happen that are out of our control and certain things that we can control. So.
And wisdom comes in knowing the difference.
Yeah.
What I can control and what I can't control. Because there are some things that are going to be out of our control. If you've ever tried to potty train a toddler, you know that there are things out of your control. You really have no choice but to just kind of go with the flow and do the best that you can. So, you're not going to have control of every situation, but you do have control over how you handle it. You have choices, and you have control over those choices. And most of the time, I feel like if someone feels like they're being controlled, let's say they feel like they have a controlling spouse, or they're being controlled by circumstances in their life. It could be the kids and their responsibilities. A lot of times people feel like they're out of control. It's usually a boundary issue. Usually they have an issue with healthy boundaries. They're just not in place. And that's where the problem comes in. I could sit here and say I have a controlling spouse, but is he? Or am I letting him control me?
Right.
because I'm an adult.
Right.
Unless he's physically holding you down, really,
Right.
you have the choice to do whatever it is that you need to do. And what you allow is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know? So if you allow someone to control you, then that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
You have to take the responsibility for yourself and your actions to say, I don't allow this. You know?
And those are I feel like those are pretty obvious, right? Like you can see that, you can spot that.
Sometimes, yes.
Some of the ones that
Sometimes, but not always.
Some of the ones that I feel like are fly under the radar is like people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a major boundary
Yes.
issue. And you're just trying to make other people happy. Moms do this all the time. I see, you did that for years.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person that, it's like cliche, but the only person that's not happy is you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And really everybody else.
Well, but
because
I mean,
it's like,
yeah.
it's just, nothing's fluid.
Yeah.
But whenever I see people at work do that all the time, I was one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
I want to prove myself. I want to please my boss. I want to please that client. I want to whatever.
Or prove something to someone.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes even prove it to myself in areas that don't even need to be proven.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no, like, prove what? For what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's literally, when you really think about, I'm going to show them, I'm going to do that, I'm going to prove them wrong, I'm going to, all the enemies and all the naysayers that come against you. Like I hear people say that all the time.
Yeah.
That gives me fuel to go and do it. Like you really probably don't want to go do that if you're using that as fuel.
Yeah.
Because you have to be in control of yourself. If you're going forward on these things and these naysayers are your fuel for it and motivation for it, aren't you letting them control what you do?
That's right.
So
yeah.
I do have an issue with that. But like the people pleasing part is really, that's one of those that flies right under that radar where people don't know and they're just trying to do the right thing for their boss. They're trying to,
Mm-hmm.
in their eyes, try to do the right thing, but they're people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're letting other people control
you, right? And I think each situation is different. If you are feeling out of control in a situation, it's probably time for you to take a step back and look at the situation and just evaluate it to say, okay, what do I have control over in this situation, and what don't I have control over? Yeah. Another person you don't have control over. You really don't. So the only thing you control is yourself and the choices that you make. And sometimes it may take looking at yourself and looking at leading up to this, what choices did I make that got me here? So you can see it's not somebody else's fault. You made the choices. Yeah. You chose the job. You chose that core. Now you have to pay for it. Now, you know what I'm saying? So you chose to have children. You chose to get married. Whether or not you wanted to have a child, you chose to do the act that led to the child. Right. So, you can keep peeling back the layers to go back far enough to see where each thing that has happened is because of a choice that you made. You were in control of it. Yeah. And if you weren't, it's because you gave it away. Because somebody can't take it from you. You have to give it. Yeah. Yeah.
That when you talked about choosing that child, it reminded me of the story that you told about the lady who said they wish that they could choose their baby daddies. It's like, weren't you not in control of that?
So, right. And I mean, there are some instances where there is a woman who will be physically abused in some way, and then result
that wasn't the case.
But that is a tiny percentage. Right. Most of the time, a choice is made by two people to do an act that results in a baby. That's right.
It's like, well, I just wanted to have sex. I didn't want to get pregnant. Okay. Well, I just wanted to shoot a gun at his face. I didn't want him to die.
Yeah. Basically, you just wanted to do something without having to face the consequences of what the outcome could possibly be. Is really what that's all about. Yeah.
Like you can't run a red light and not expect to get a ticket or get in an accident, right? I mean, that's what happens. But anyway, like, shifting that is like, I feel like we all should want to be in control. And if we all want to be in control, and not in control of other people, like in control of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if we all control ourselves and worry about ourselves, it takes all the pressure off of everything that you're going to do. Don't worry about the things that you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
Only control the things that you can control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I can't control if the traffic is going to be backed up and make me late for this appointment, right? But I can control in the time that I leave to justify
That's right.
if something bad happens.
That's exactly right. And you can also control how you react in the situation if something were to happen to hold you up.
Right.
You know, because self-control is basically all about being in control over your feelings,
Mm-hmm.
your desires, your wants, all those things.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if I want
awareness,
awareness, if I want something and I can't have it, how I react to that says everything about me and the self-control that I have. You know, I can pitch a fit and stomp my feet just like a child.
Yeah.
Or I can control that to say, okay, rationally, I really would have liked that. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
How am I going to handle it? Because I want my children to be able to have self-control. I fuss at my children when they have a temper tantrum. I will correct them and explain to them why they can't do that, why they have to have self-control. So I can't let myself be out of control when things don't go my way.
I was like the king of out of control because like I had a kid that was hitting her sister in a restaurant as we were walking in, and I lost my shit. And I grabbed my kid and I started whipping her ass in front of everybody in the restaurant. And I was yelling at her that we don't hit in this house, literally while I'm whipping her ass. And I was like, as soon as it was over, I was like,
that was dumb.
That was a dumb thing to do.
But you should have been better in control.
Right. Now, she needed to be corrected because she was really
yes, she really did. She really did.
But it didn't, like, literally what I said was totally out of control in front of everybody. It didn't need, like, it embarrassed her and embarrassed me and you and everybody who was with us more than the correction that she actually needed. So that's where the self-control comes in. But really, like, I want control in everything in my life. Like, everything, the more I grew up and the more I matured, and like we were talking, you know, because we were in a business, then we got out of it, and now we're back in it, and it's like totally different now because we got away from it and realized the things that we were out of control in and how we can control that and how to adjust and delegate the things that we can't control.
Yeah.
And so it's like total freedom. Well, when you take that and apply that to everyday life, everything in your life, well, then you have total freedom. Like, I want everything to be my fault. The good stuff and the bad stuff. Because if it's my fault,
then you can fix it.
I can fix it.
Yeah, you have the power to fix it. That's right.
So I want to be in control. And, you know, Grant Cardone talks about being a control freak. I think he's right on that. Like, we should all want to be control freaks.
Because if you're going to be in control, then you have to be able to accept responsibility. And I think that's where a lot of people would rather give up the control than accept the responsibility to say, that was my fault.
Yeah.
I messed that up.
Or what they want to do is they want the total control. And then when something goes wrong, then they pass the blame.
Then they want to blame it,
And that's kind of like being the hero and the victim at the same time.
That's right.
You just can't do it.
You can't be the man and the victim at the same time.
You can't be the man and the victim.
You can't. And, you know, when we look at our own lives and our own personalities and our wants and all those things, we have to see each day where our power is and how to use our power for us and the people that we love around us. And that has to come with being in control of ourselves and our actions. That's the only way that we'll have the power.
Yep.
And it's not power over someone else. It's power over yourself.
Yep.
You know, you can't give it away. And the only way to not give it away is to be in control and to accept the responsibility. Accept the responsibility. Accept the responsibility.
100%. And that's like, if we do that and we go about our day with that, then there is no fear of what other people think, because you truly are in control of you. And it's like just a wall that goes up, because people talk about you anyway. I mean, people talk stuff on me all the time.
Yeah.
And I used to let it control me and guide me throughout my life. And you know where it's got me? Tank businesses, a failed marriage. Like, I mean, there was a ton of stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And now, looking back on it now, I'm like, my God, like, how did I let someone do that to me? You know, it's kind of like what Paul Martinelli talks about. He was asking, he wanted to start this grand business, and he was on a roof brushing the shingles off the roof. And he asked another guy who was brushing the shingles off a roof
what he should do with his life.
And the guy was like, man, that's the dumbest idea ever. And he was like, but he's pushing a broom on the side of me.
He's doing the same.
What does he know about business, right?
Exactly.
And so when we do that stuff, it's like, how do we let other people control us? And how do we not let that fear of what people think guide us? And this is just one example, but this happened to me literally last night. Our daughter was at a dance recital, and this place fits 2,000 people. I'm not going to name the place because I don't want any good or bad publicity. It's not, whatever. But anyway. But they're at like 25% capacity. We're almost in May of 2021. I think it's ridiculous with the whole mask mandates. Everybody gets vaccines now. My immune system is like a freaking Navy SEAL. Like, I mean, it just annihilates everything. Yeah. So I'm sitting down there. First off, they make me put a mask to go in. Okay. I said, make me, right? They didn't make me.
No, you could have
chosen. I wanted to go see my daughter dance.
You could have chosen not to go in.
And so I had to put it on. Now, I put it on the shittiest kind of way you could put it on, where it fell off. But anyway, because I can't be fully compliant with this. It aggravates me to the living shit. So once I pass the guards, which they have sheriff departments there now, like sheriff department personnel,
I didn't see any of that.
Was there. And when I went in and started asking, like they told me to wear a mask, and I inquired why, because I don't want to just take their word for it. Like again, that's the thing with people being compliant and being out of control, because you tell me to wear a mask and I just blindly put it on. I don't know why I'm doing it. You know, if I'm speeding and a cop pulls me over, I know why I was speeding. I understand that. But I don't believe that you can just make me wear a mask for no reason. First off, the city that we're in lifted the mask mandate. There's to be no masks worn in public buildings anymore. And they're telling me that it is. So whatever, I put it on, I go and I sit. Once I get to my seat, now let me explain this. Once I get to my seat, it's literally, we have 6 seats for our family, and only our family could sit together. We can't mix families. We can't do, the row in the front of me is empty, the row in the back of me, every other row is empty, and we have to keep 4 spaces in between families. In the middle of my section is me and my oldest daughter. Just us. And we're talking. Neither one of us has a mask on. I'm sitting, I'm not moving around, I'm not mingling, nobody's talking. Like, I'm literally minding my own business. And this lady came, and it's her job, it's not her fault. Like, her employer's making her go do this to keep her job. Yeah. And she's informing me to put my mask on. Well, I'm talking to my daughter, and I'm totally ignoring this woman. Like, I'm totally being an asshole and ignoring this woman. And I keep talking to my daughter, and I'm not even saying any words. I'm just like talking random bullshit. And the lady gets hostile with me. So I politely, I'm like, wait, are you talking to me? Yeah, I'm talking to you. You got to put your mask on. I was like, why? And she can't answer me why. She did not tell me why. So I took it and I hung it on my ear, and she turned and walked away. And then I took it right off and put it back in my pocket. And I never put the mask on again. And everybody else in the building just sat with their mask on. And again, nothing against them, because those people they truly may feel like it helps them, or they may think it's a fashion statement. I really don't know what they think about wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. But the point was, like, I'm in control of me. And they told me, if you don't put the mask on, we're going to kick you out. They never kicked me out. And they said it multiple times.
But you had the choice to either put it on or not be there.
Yep. So with all that being said, like you have to choose. And my mom got there too. And that lady came and told my mom. My mom's looking at me. You got to put your mask on. I'm like, Mom, this is the dumbest shit known to man. Like I'm not doing any of this.
Yeah.
And my mom was freaking
it's
out.
just like, there are some stores that will come and harass you if you don't have it on. Yeah. I make the choice not to go to those stores. I just don't shop there. I'm not going to go and yell and scream and make a scene and kick my feet and have a little temper tantrum. I'm just not going to go. I'm just going to make the choice not to go.
Right. Now, there was a time that I would have caused a scene like last night, but I didn't. I put it on and just took it right back off.
Yeah.
Like I'm 40 years old. Like I'm not a child. Like you're not going to put this mask on me like you're making me wear a diaper trying to potty train me. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And the guy behind me, we started talking about it. And of course, we like-minded individuals. And this is totally off the subject, but it was funny because, he said, just tell her, thank her for doing her job. And I was like, yeah. I said, because honestly, if we wear our mask, like her job is to make sure that we wear the mask and to come tell us to put it on. So if we all compliant and just wear them, then she's out of a job. There's no need for her position. So it was actually looking out for that poor lady. So I feel better about myself.
Good. I'm so glad.
No, but all that being said, that's just an example, one example of anything that we do and everything that we do in life that we control what it is. Yeah, I didn't have to they didn't make me wear that mask.
Yeah.
I say that.
Yeah.
But they made me put it on to go see my daughter.
Right.
I had the choice to go see my daughter or not.
Yeah. Right.
So,
and I think, if more people took, not just with the mask situation, but in general, if more people took control and took responsibility for themselves, they would not have so much time to worry about everybody else.
100%.
And then there would be, the whole situation about the mask, the whole situation about who you vote for, how you feel on this topic. It's one thing to sit and to openly have a discussion about things that are happening. But, most of the time people are so worried about what everybody else is doing that it turns into an argument and a fight. And if people would just worry about themselves and have control over themselves, then we wouldn't have all of the arguing and the fighting and the negativity and the bitterness.
100%. To paint a different picture on that, you remember when Michael Phelps won one of the races that he was in, one of the many.
Yeah.
But they have a snapshot.
Oh, the guy's looking at him.
And Michael Phelps is totally focused on what he's doing. And I forgot who was next to him, but he was turned looking at Michael Phelps. And the caption says, winners are focused on winning. And losers are focused on winners.
Winners. That's right.
And really that's what it is. Because even in business, like in construction, we would bid jobs and we had to compete for jobs. And there was all this chaos going on. And there were so many people focused on what other people were doing instead of focus on what they should have been doing. And they end up losing. Even if they get the job, they lose because they would undercut the bid so much that they wouldn't have enough money in it to do it.
And they lose the money, yeah.
And there was many jobs where I went in and didn't care and I took stuff from, from where it was supposed to be. Yeah. But the thing about it was you got to keep the focus on the right spot.
Yeah.
We're out of time? Way out of time?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with all that being said, go control your shit, man.
Yeah.
Take control.
Just take control. And sometimes
be a control freak.
And sometimes, like I said, all it takes is just take a look at it and say, where am I giving up my control? Where can I take control? What choices am I making? Who am I giving my control to?
And give up the shit that you can't control.
And give up the things that you can't control. Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Yep. Cool. Well, anyway, go control shit. This concludes Jacob Gospel Podcast. We'll talk to y'all next week. Make sure you like us on all the social media platforms and give a click on the website. Shoot us an email. Let us know what you think. Ask us all the questions that you need there. We'll see y'all next week.